It's Monday morning podcast day.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up, you stupid idiots, and get to work. You like that?
No.
Oh, okay. How are you? How was your weekend? We didn't really see each other this weekend much.
It was fine. I worked.
Nice.
It worked out.
That's good.
All weekend.
That's good. Work and work out is about all our lives kind of
When I work,
come
that's
down
all
to.
I can do is work out or work and train. That's all I have time for, really.
When you what?
When I work,
Yeah.
that's all I have time for.
Heather is getting ready for Monster Games
Mm-hmm.
right now. So training is on the top of the list, the top of the things to
And
get
it's
done
spicy.
throughout the day. Yeah, today's going to be pretty difficult for you. I'm not going to lie.
Why do you say that?
It's a lot of CrossFit.
It is. It's all CrossFit.
Not that I don't believe in you
Mm-hmm.
and your capabilities or your abilities, but yeah, it's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I got a tough day too, actually. Yeah. I have to build up to a heavy 2 push jerk and a heavy 2 bench press. I'm excited to see the bench press.
Yeah.
See what it is.
That's fun.
My goal is going to be 275 for 2. I think that'll be all right. So,
Nice.
yeah.
I don't know if that's good or not.
For not benching like ever. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty good. That means like if I've hit 275 for a couple reps, that usually means that I can still hit 315 for a single.
Mm.
And I'm light right now. So, if I was able to do that for 2, it'd be good.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of dumbbell benching.
Yeah, me too. Have you really?
I had dumbbell bench on Saturday, and then I have it again this week.
Me too.
Maybe next Saturday? I can't remember.
She's been making me do that like a lot of reps. Like a lot of reps.
Yeah, I had
on
50 of 'em.
Saturdays. Yeah, same. For time, almost every single week, paired with something else.
Mine was 5 rounds of 10 dumbbell bench, 10 dumbbell, 2 dumbbell bench, 2 dumbbell front squat, 3 rope climbs. 5 rounds of that.
Okay, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's difficult. Yeah. Mine was
Yes.
rope climbs and bench press. I think I had to do like 5 or 7 rope climbs again for time with 50 bench press. 50 dumbbell bench press. Anyway, yeah, let's not bore people with the
Yeah.
training talk. Training. We have the same coach, Heather and I,
Mm-hmm.
Mia Gianelli from
Mhm.
Training Think Tank. Plug. Go check out Training Think Tank if you're into CrossFit. If you're not, I don't really care. So,
Yeah.
yeah. We have a special guest coming this week. Her name is Tristan Ott. He's been hanging out a lot. Tristan has been hanging out at our house a lot. I think that this is just kind of worthy of the update because he's kind of a character that just hangs out in our life and stuff.
Yeah.
Tristan.
Because I'm always saying, oh, Tristan's doing this or Tristan's doing that, but then I'm not sure if people actually know who he is.
I feel like people know who Tristan is just from like our social medias. They know who
Probably.
he is, but they've like never met him. You know what I mean? He's
Mhm.
just a character.
He is a character
You know,
with a
he's
broccoli
just
head.
like, yeah, he's just part of the Brady Bunch, you know, but like he's the one kid that no one really hears from, but they see him everywhere. Tristan has left school and now he's doing
He has a
adult
full-time
stuff.
job.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a full-time job. So that's pretty crazy. Anyway, oh shoot.
He didn't leave school. He's transitioning to
A woman.
online,
Yeah. Hold on.
but it's summer, obviously, so he's not in school right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Little update on our Christianity podcast. It's at almost 2K views. Comments have stopped. Comments have ceased. So I think that I put those trolls in their place, man. I put them in their place. No, I'm just kidding. The last podcast that we released, though, we talked about dealing with hate comments and stuff. And what was interesting is somebody commented on that podcast that watched the last podcast. And they said, I watched the podcast in question along with this in its entirety. And he's like, it seems almost, and you tell me what you think. He's like, it seems almost that you're not really, he's like, you're already talking about punching back at trolls. And no matter the platform that you have, big or small, it should be open for dialogue, and you seem to want to create an echo chamber of ideas.
Yeah.
No, me. He
Yeah.
thinks I want to create an echo chamber of ideas.
Is that a bad thing? I don't know if
That's
what
a
that
bad
means.
thing. Where it's
Oh.
like, yeah,
I
you
don't
don't
know
know
what
what
that-
that means?
No.
Okay. An echo chamber of ideas would mean that like you're not willing to have open dialogue with people.
Oh.
And so it's like everything that you talk about and the people that you surround yourself with and all this stuff is would all just like be confirming your bias the entire time. So you're not willing to have discussion about, the opposite. And so, but his comment was really positive, and I said to him, I was like, I like this comment a lot. I liked it a lot, actually, because it was constructive. You know what I mean? I was like, but I have to push back because the comment, like none of the comments on the Christianity video, I feel like were constructive criticism.
No.
It was just hate and just like all this stuff. Like
It was all calling you whiny or something.
yeah, that and like no, calling us whiny Christians and how
Oh.
Christians are whiny and like that they always think that they're the victim and stuff like that. And I was like, it's literally just ad hominem attacks, you know what I mean? Like, which is just calling you a name or whatever, like not attacking the idea. And I also said, I was like, I didn't really express any ideas. I didn't really express many ideas in that podcast besides one, which was that I believe that there's a spiritual war on Christianity and that I'm a Christian for these reasons. I just kind of gave my thing. I didn't express anything that I think other people should listen to, or you know what I mean? It's just like expressing our experience or my experience. So yeah, it was a pretty refreshing comment. But then at the bottom of the comment, he also said, but I agree with you that YouTube is a cesspool for negativity. And I was like, yeah, there we go. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm now like kind of finding the silver lining, I think, with these comments and stuff, and just being like, ooh, these are fun.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah. Well, because another person commented on, and I have no idea what this. I literally have zero clue what this person's talking about. They commented on our newest podcast, and I think that they may have commented on the last, but they said, "Why haven't you responded? All I did was tell you the truth. Are you scared?" Dude, I have 99 comments on that last video. Do you really think that I remember if you commented? You know? I just don't know. YouTube is so weird. People are so weird. It drives me nuts because I'm like, number one, I think it's interesting that people that have I think it's interesting that people that don't have the balls to put a real name or a real profile picture on their profile have the nuts to comment like crazy stuff and then to call you whiny or that you're scared and all this stuff. But it's like, I'm literally the one putting my idea out there.
Yeah.
And you're the one that's commenting on it. Not that I'm putting myself on a high horse, but it's like, how could you call somebody scared when I'm putting my face and my idea out into the world, and you're not doing either of those. Like you have like the troll frog as your, profile picture. And then like,
What's a troll frog?
there's way too much to get into with that. Okay. There's way too much. This is a Trump era thing, the troll frog. And then your username is like username 464206969696969. You know what I mean? Like,
Do we think those are just spam, or are those real people?
no, they're real people for sure. They just don't want to, like, they want to be recognized in the sense that like you comment back and they got a W on you, but like they don't want to be recognized because like,
Listen,
whatever reason.
Trolls comment on my YouTube videos for my coach. I have to post my training videos to a YouTube channel for my coach. That's literally all I put it on there. Or if I'm doing like a qualifier or something and you have to put it on YouTube for a link. That's all that's on my YouTube. That's it. Nothing else. And I get trolls commenting on those videos.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
And it's like, this
crazy.
isn't even for you, you idiot.
It's crazy. It's nuts. I can't understand. Like, I don't want to spend too much time on this because it does sound kind of complaining if I'm being honest. But at the same time, I don't understand somebody or wanting to spend the time out of their day, whether it be small or big amount of time, to comment on a video that they don't know the person. You only get a snippet of their thought or of their movement or whatever it is. And you feel like for some reason you are such the expert or you're the intellectual that you should comment on their video, but you won't put your face on the internet or your name. Like, if anything, that's so cowardice. Like, I have no words for it, you know? I have no words for it. So anyway, I've been reading books lately. The past 2 years, I'm gonna be open and honest on this podcast. The past 2 years, I've gone through a lot of crap, right? I've gone through a lot of crap, and I'm being real when I say this. And the reason, like, I feel like that this is like the direction I kind of want to take some of these podcasts is being open and honest about how I am and how I'm developing and like what I'm doing, right? So the past 2 years were really tough. I went through a lot of stuff, and I feel as though I've lost a little bit of who Justin is at his core, right? And I feel like I had lost some. The things that have stayed consistent have been like my integrity, my will, my moral and ethic compass, I guess, right? Like, I've stayed true to all that stuff. But some stuff, if I'm being totally real, that has been lost is, and when I speak on these podcasts, I'm not just trying to speak to other people. I feel like I'm also speaking to myself. Like, I'm giving myself advice as well. You know, I'm giving myself like affirmation as I'm trying to talk to other people, because I've been here before and I've built up big before, and I've done a bunch of stuff in my life. I've done so many things. Like, I've lived hundreds of lives. Seriously, I've lived hundreds of lives. What?
It's funny.
It is, but it's funny. But I've lived a lot of life, like in 31 years. There's like I could tell so many stories on this podcast, and I'd have so much content for the years to come, just from like all the things that I've like attempted, that I've done, whatever. So I feel like, anyway, the past years were really, really tough for me, and I lost a little bit of who I am. I think I've built up some insecurities. I've become a little bit less confident in myself, weirdly enough, because if you watch the videos and you talk to me as a person, you probably think that I'm a cocky asshole. And then,
Yes, I'm sure people think that.
Yeah, probably. and all these things, right? But I'm being real and honest on the podcast about this, because I know that it's possible, and it will be done, to turn the table again, to go around another direction. And so one of the things that I've done is I've started picking books back up and trying to learn new skills and learn new things. So like, I started on Duolingo. I started doing Spanish, and I've had a 9-day streak now, 9 days that I've done 10 to 15 minutes of Duolingo, whatever the lesson plan is. And it's starting to slowly build confidence back in me that like, I can do things that I don't want to do. I can do sort of hard things, right? Like, Spanish was my first language. I'm Hispanic, I'm Mexican. My family speaks Spanish. Everybody speaks Spanish in my family.
Yes.
That's the only language that's spoke at family things. And so I made it a mission to be able to speak Spanish again. And now I'm continuing on with that, and I'm doing the things necessary. So I think that that's one thing that if anybody's in kind of the same boat, that they can do to rebuild their confidence is try to pick something up new and try to learn something. Try to learn a new skill. Show yourself that you can learn the new skill, and it will develop confidence in you over time. This is something that I did way back in the day, and it sounds so small and so stupid. It sounds very trivial, but even if you just do these little things where you're like, okay, I'm going to learn how to kickflip on a skateboard, right? If you tell yourself you're going to learn how to kickflip, or even for you, like learn how to go down an incline, like some sort of transition, you show yourself that you have the ability to say you are going to do something, and you keep trying, and then you learn ways to circumnavigate like what the problem is, and then you learn it. And by learning the thing, or by doing the thing consistently, you show yourself that you are dedicated, you have the ability, you are capable, and finally your work paid off. And that's really big in confidence, building your confidence back up. And so yeah, that's one thing that I've been doing. The other thing that I've been doing has been reading books, because I used to read quite a bit, which is interesting because in high school I hated anything that had to do with paper and words on it. Anything. And the book that I'm reading right now, some people are going to cringe at this title 100%. I know that. And they're going to cringe at like what they think the book is about. But don't cringe, because it's probably not what you think it is. It's called The Way of the Superior Man, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. What do you think that like, just off the title, what do you think it's about?
I mean, I'm not one to judge a book by its cover, but
Ooh.
but I can see where some people might not like the title of that.
Yeah. So I think that people the first idea of it would be like, oh, this is going to teach you how to get laid and like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Is that what you think?
No, I don't think anything.
Oh, no. Is that what you would have thought?
I think people will think, oh, it's a toxic masculinity or whatever dumb.
Yeah. So this book,
about.
I read it. I can't remember if I read it like in the beginning of our relationship or if I had like read it like going into our relationship or before. But this book is really like some of the stuff. There is some stuff about like you dealing with like your woman in there. And like, I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, but a lot of the beginning of the book is really, really good advice for dudes. And I think that in a time, actually, not just for dudes. I think the beginning of the book is really good advice for anyone. And I'm going to read a couple quotes from it and explain why I think it's good advice. But, where was I going with that? I think that it's really good advice for anybody, at least in the beginning of the beginning chapters. It's separated into 3 different parts. And then some of this stuff, is like kind of, I think that women could enjoy this book too, because they could see from the masculine frame in some stuff, and they'd be able to be like, oh, maybe the author is right, and this is what I'm actually expecting out of, the man that I want. And I didn't even realize that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really good advice, especially the book is really good, especially in a time where men specifically are weaker. They can't stick to their word. They're the loneliest they've ever been. They don't make the depression rates are super high. And to be honest with you, a lot of men can't even get laid. Like lots of dudes can't get laid right now. This doesn't teach you how to get laid. It just teaches you really good qualities of being a masculine man. But again, some of the advice in the beginning is really good for women too. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about from this book is it says something about time in the beginning. And so I'm going to pull that out real quick. I think this is such a good thing. It says, now replace men with everyone. It says, men who have lived significant lives are men who never waited, not for money, security, ease, or women. Feel what you want to give most as a gift to your woman and to the world, and do what you can to give it today. Every moment waited is a moment wasted, and each wasted moment degrades your clarity of purpose. So what I really take from that is, I think a lot of people in life struggle to find their purpose. I think that they struggle to follow their purpose, and so many of us just kind of settle for what like we're supposed to do or what we are accredited to do, right? So we might get a degree or whatever, and then we determine like, okay, I have to go to college. I'm getting a degree in communications. Now I have to go find a job that's in communications or whatever, Or I went to college and I got a degree. So now I feel like because everybody's telling me that I have to go get a career, I'm going to go get a career in sales or, beauty, whatever, what have you, right? When so many people deny their actual purpose or their urge to do a calling, right? They deny their urge to do a purpose. And I think sometimes that the waters can get kind of muddy here, because some people might think that one thing is their purpose because they get an intense feeling about something, or they get impulsive. They get an impulse thought, and then they're like, that's what I have to do. That's what I have to do. That's what I have to do. But me, really, what I think purpose comes down to is it's something that probably has shown up in your life a lot. Like if you look at it, purpose probably has shown up in your life a lot, and you've gotten upset when you haven't followed through with it. And it's something that kind of eats away at you that you're not doing, right? And so what I got away from that book, or from that quote, is that any minute waited is a minute wasted. So any minute that you are not chasing your purpose or doing something to get further or closer to your purpose, you've wasted time, and you're losing happiness, and you're losing like part of who you are. And that has showed up in my life for sure. It showed up in my life in the sense that like, you know, there's so many of us too will like not do things that are conducive to our life's path or our life's purpose because we want to go have fun, or we want to make other people happy. Like we want to say yes to other people so that they're not angry at us or whatever. And then what that does slowly over time is it kind of builds that lack of self-confidence in you, in the sense that like, you know, I say like, I feel that I really want this. I say that I really want this, but I'm not willing to do the things in order to get to that thing. And what's crazy is when it is actually your purpose, it hurts way more than if it's something that you just said you would do and you didn't follow through. And I think that that's a good way to know how, or to know what your purpose is as well, is if you deny yourself that purpose, how does it feel? When you deny yourself the opportunity to work to get closer to this goal that turns out to be your purpose, how do you feel? If it hurts more than it did just a random goal, that was probably your purpose, because there's a deep yearning for it, right? Like for me, how it's showed up in my life that I've waited and it's been time wasted is throughout my entire life, through everything I can remember, I've made content. I have done music. I have done skate videos. I have done Jackass style videos. I tried to do prank videos. I tried to do vlogs. I tried to do a podcast a long time ago. I'm doing a podcast now. And
Every time.
I
think that one is.
I got to put new tape on it.
Yeah.
I tried to do a podcast, or I'm doing a podcast now, and time waited is time wasted. Now I'm 31 years old. You know, 31. Dang. I'm 31 years old.
Please.
I'm 31 years old. I started my content journey around 14 years old. I never fully chased it. And I went so many years wishing that I was doing the thing that I'm doing now, even for free. And so all those years built up over time. And it may have been good that I started a podcast at 31 because I have a lot more life experience and I have a lot more stories to tell. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it ate away at me for years. And I think so many people go through the same thing with whatever. There might be some of you that are watching or listening that do finance. And you're like, I would really like to do cat grooming. That's what I feel like
Get groomed.
I don't know. That's what I feel like my life's purpose is. And every time you deny yourself that life's purpose, you die a little bit inside.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's lots of people out there who wish that they were doing something else, or have kind of an idea or a dream or a purpose or whatever that they probably are meant to do, but our society is not supportive of that, and so it becomes really easy to just ignore it and lose touch with it.
Yeah. I think personally that that's by design too, right? That like they want you to get disconnected from like the powers that be want you to get disconnected with your purpose, because again, a purposeful person has a mission, they stay on course and they stay on track, and nothing deters them from it. Like one of the things here in this book that it says is don't let your woman come before your purpose. And I'm just going to use this as an example. It says, don't let your woman come before your purpose. And what I take away from that is, and I tell guys this a lot, and it's a lot easier said than done. And I've definitely let, women or my woman become higher than my purpose at some points. But what it does to you is that, again, you lose trust in yourself, that you're willing to do anything that it takes to get there, right? To get to your purpose. And even if that means that your relationship will be denied over it, you know? And suddenly when you start making somebody else ahead of, you know, when you start making somebody else's needs ahead of your needs, that person no longer trusts you that you're willing to do all the things to make that relationship suitable, whether it be friends or a girlfriend or whatever, because they see that you're willing to compromise yourself for them. And so when you compromise yourself for other people, they have a lack of trust because you won't even do the things to make yourself bigger. So how can they trust that you're going to make them bigger or that you're going to do the right things for them? That's how I take it. The other portion of it is if you make somebody else or another thing the center of your world over you and your purpose and the things that you're meant to do, when that person leaves or the other people leave or the thing dies off or whatever it is, what are you left with? Nothing.
And maybe you should clarify that for the record. It might be a good idea to find a partner who isn't going to ask you to compromise your purpose.
Well, obviously. But what I'm saying is, yeah, obviously you should find that. But no matter what relationship you are in, your partner is going to ask you to compromise some things for your purpose in the form of, hey, we have a family event on Saturday. And you might be like, I really have to get this project done. You know what I mean? And there's compromise that can happen, right? Like you and me, I tell you sometimes like, hey, I have to bring my laptop. You know,
and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I also give you the out to not even go.
But what I'm saying is that in any relationship that you might get in, there's going to be points in time where you're going to be, and it might not be even be an intentional test from your partner, but you're going to be tested on what's more important to you. Is it the integrity of your relationship with your partner or is it your life's purpose, right? And to me, you should take your life's purpose as the more important part of that situation because of the reasons I stated before. Because if you put anything or anyone else before your life's purpose and before your well-being, they won't trust that you're going to have their best well-being in mind or their, best intentions in mind, or their well-being in mind, because you won't even take yours into consideration. So how could you take somebody else's, right? But regardless of the fact, there's going to be times in relationships where you're tested on whether the integrity of the relationship is more important or your life's purpose and your path is more important. Now, and that's not to say that they are testing you on purpose. That's not to say that they're testing you for any sort of reason. They don't want you to do your purpose or anything like that. It just will happen. It could happen naturally. Again, there could be a family event and you have to get this work done or whatever for your business or what mind you, right? And then you have to make the decision between the two, right? Or you can find a partner who, understands that you have a life purpose, right? And when you bring up the fact, like me, I have to bring my laptop and I have to get stuff done before I can participate. If you find that partner, you're really lucky. Number one. Number two, that's the compromise that sometimes has to be made. Like we live life, we're in real life. So sometimes, yeah, you have to say, hey, I have to get this stuff done or I just can't go. But a lot of us, I think, have gotten into the habit of being yes men and just like, man, okay, I guess the work can wait until we get back home. Oh, we didn't get back home until 9:00. So now I got to go to bed. Oh, I guess I got to do it tomorrow. Stuff like that. Most people won't find a partner who's okay with them bringing a laptop to work or to a family event. Just won't happen.
That's quite sad for that person.
Yeah, that's like the majority of people.
Yeah,
I can name like a bunch of my friends who, like, if they would say I have to bring a laptop to the family function, their partner would be like, no, that's weird. That would look weird. Which I think that's weird.
I do too.
That the person would be like, no, or whatever, and so,
but I also have that same mindset. Like if I have to do something or I have to get something done, I will say no.
Yeah.
That's
really, really important to be able to do, to say no and to not feel bad about saying no. If you feel bad about saying no to your partner over something that's important to you, like you can't go, and you feel guilty over it, that might say something about the person that you're with. That might say that they're not making you feel safe to be able to pursue your life's path or your purpose or whatever. And that's probably not the right relationship to be in. Now, a lot of people are going to get triggered over that, and that counts for friendships too. But a lot of people are going to get triggered over that. No, it's compromise. We compromise. No, you don't compromise on certain things in life. You just don't. This idea that you're supposed to compromise over everything, and compromise is never actually compromise. It's always one person's preference over the other, right? This idea that you have to do that over everything in life is idiotic. There's just some things. Oh, shoot. There are just some things in life that you should not deny yourself, and you shouldn't compromise at all. And that's one of them for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think at least. I don't know, man. I just see so many.
I never really thought about any of these things until you started bringing these concepts up. But they're things that I feel like I've traits that I've always had my whole life. And maybe they're just traits of people who are willing to work towards their goals. I don't know. But I I don't know. I haven't thought about the differences of people, me when I'm 14 years old and working, and then 3 jobs through college, and doing all these things to get I really wanted to be a medical provider. That was my goal. And then I found out what a PA was, and I was like, okay, I'm going to PA school, and I just went and got it done. So I don't know. I just never really thought about these things, that people don't do these things.
I think that there's this a double-edged sword with this one. I think that on one hand, these are normal life things that don't get verbalized, so people don't talk about them as concepts or ideas. And the second portion is I think that they're only done by very healthy people naturally. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people I almost am not really pivy. I almost don't like the word trauma anymore, because I just think that Alex Hormozy said something that really rung with me, and he's like, is there trauma, or do bad things just happen?
Yeah. And
then you deal with bad things. And if anybody would take a microscope and look at my life growing up, they would be like, okay, okay, you've gone through some shit. You've gone through some serious stuff. But I think almost that the word trauma victimizes the person instead of giving them empowerment to notice that this bad thing happened to me, but I'm in total control of how I respond to it later on in life. And everybody becomes a victim at some point. I don't care who you are. Not everyone is super strong in the sense that nobody, I think, is super strong in the sense that their dad leaves and they're like, F them. I got this. You know what I mean? Everyone has some sort of trauma response to things like that. But it takes years to kind of develop the fact that this bad thing happened to me. Now it's my decision on how I respond to that throughout the rest of my life. Am I going to forgive and forget? Am I going to let this be a dictator of how I approach relationships? All these different things that could be. So yeah, I think that a lot of this is done, a lot of these things that I talk about, the ideas that are brought into our relationship or whatever, are things that might be done by really healthy people naturally, but there's not that many healthy people, so they don't really get discussed as ideas or anything like that, and they're foreign concepts to most people. Not compromising on your purpose or what you're doing is a foreign concept to a lot of people. But I think that we also live in a society where being a yes man is so applauded. You know what I mean? You don't want to miss out on the party tonight. You don't want to not go to the function or whatever.
FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO. And so you want to say yes to everything, because I also need to live a very full life. Another concept that's brought up in this book though is, and I 100% believe this, and these past 2 years, if anything, have really made me realize this, is that any moment not living within your purpose is, what was I just saying? People have FOMO and they want to have a fulfilling life. Oh yeah, that's why we say yes to a lot of things, because we want to have experiences. We want to live a fulfilling life and whatever. And I agree with that. But then the other side to that sword, or the other side of that coin, is if you're not participating in your life's purpose, and because you're saying yes to all these other things, having these experiences or whatever, your cup will never be full because you're denying yourself. At the same time as you allowing yourself, you're also denying yourself a lot of opportunity, a lot of things. And so there has to be a balance there. And in the beginning of anything, there's never a balance, right? Like when I was in college, there wasn't a balance between me doing work and me going to partying. Like me partying, I was partying, not that much actually. I partied like once or twice a week, to be real, but like there wasn't much balance in my life. When I was training for CrossFit, there wasn't much balance. I believed that was my purpose or whatever at the time, and those were my goals. And so the past few years have taught me a lot about that too, where I've said no probably 99% of the time that I've been asked to do things, and I don't regret it at all. No part of me had FOMO any of those times. Yeah. So
nice. Thirsty?
I try to drink one of these before 9 a.m. every day. It didn't happen today. Yeah. So there was one more thing that I wanted to bring up from this book that I thought was really good for people, because it freaking hit me super good. There's a chapter in this book called Lean Just Beyond Your Edge. And the part that I highlighted was, your fear is the sharpest definition of yourself. You should know it. You should feel it virtually constantly. Fear needs to become your friend so that you are no longer uncomfortable with it. Rather, primary fear shows you that you are at your edge. Staying with the fear, staying at your edge, allows real transformation to occur. So that like quote, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like that's legitimately what that is. But I think I just burped. What I think, what I think is like, dude, the get comfortable being uncomfortable thing is usually, the quote "get comfortable being uncomfortable" is usually touted and pimped by like gym bros.
Yeah.
Where they're like, yeah, get comfortable, get uncomfortable, like do extra reps. Or like CrossFitters, like go until failure, push hard. Dude, the real transformation in life when you're getting comfortable being uncomfortable comes from literally doing things that push you to your edge. Things that scare the crap out of you. Emptying your bank account on a gym. I told Heather the first couple months that we were dating, I said, I'm going to open this gym whether I go broke or not. And I told you that, right?
You did.
I told her that I'm going to open this gym and do it whether I go broke or not. And that pushed me to the edge. I spent all my money, like for the most part, on this gym. And I really, really gave it a go, and I tried, and unfortunate things happened. But I was at that edge of fear. I had to get comfortable being in an uncomfortable spot. My only savior in that position was I had been more broke before. I had been more broke before that. And so it wasn't my complete edge, but I knew where I needed to be in order to get that sense of I'm uncomfortable again and to stay there and to stay with it. That's where the real she's going to do 7, 5. Bless you.
Thanks.
But that's where the real growth comes in. And I think so many people take this quote of get comfortable being uncomfortable, and they're like, I'm going to push harder in the gym, or I'm going to go in an ice bath. And like, these are the things that are going to fix up my life because I'm learning how to get uncomfortable and be okay with it. Dude, the lessons don't get learned there. The lessons get learned and taught in real life. When you really, like, you take a chance and you understand how far to push to your edge, and you stay there and you consistently stay there and you try to make it work no matter what, until you literally can't anymore. Like, the whole reason why the gym thing for me didn't work out was because it wasn't my life's purpose. I could have stayed in that position forever.
Yeah.
If it was my life's purpose. But I started getting more opportunities, and I started to think that God was giving me like signs that like, hey, something needs to change. This is like not your path. And so I exited in a way that would benefit everybody, and just made sure that I did the right things. But if it were my life's purpose or my life's path, I could have stayed in that position for a very long time. You know, but I've been there before. It was familiar. So, yeah. Has there been a time where you felt like that, where you felt like you were at the edge?
I don't think so.
No.
I think if
You're very like risk adverse though.
Yeah, I know. I mean, rightfully so. We have little kids.
I feel like you've been risk adverse your entire life.
Probably. You know,
Yeah.
we were raised by boomers and they're incredibly risk adverse. They like hammer it into your brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think I'd be a little bit more willing. Like, for example, I think I could find myself there if I wanted to. I could quit my job at the hospital and just go all in on my business and see what happens. That would be, I think that would be living on that edge of fear and discomfort and stuff. I think that would be where it is for me. However, yeah, I admittedly will not do that until I know that it's a safe decision because we have little kids.
Yeah. See, and
maybe that's the difference between you and I. Like, my purpose is to be a mom first and foremost, and then second to make money. You know what I mean? To like provide for the family. So
yeah, I think that personally, I have to push back on that, right? Because I think that people can't say that they could do something like that without having done it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying I could do it. I'm saying that's where it would be. Like, I'm telling you, like, that's where I would feel that uncomfort.
Well, the other thing that I would say, and this isn't pushing back on your idea at all, is that I think that, you know, the real transformation for anyone in any position, in my experience, the real transformation for anybody in any position comes from back against the wall. You have no options. Mm-hmm. And this sounds crazy coming from somebody who's not a millionaire, right? But I come from poverty. Mm-hmm. I come from, I need to figure out how to make money. I come from dropping out of school, quitting jobs and having to figure out how to provide for myself and not wanting to be employed by anybody because I have a problem with authority since I was like a kid, you know? So I come from back against the wall. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about this? You're going to be poor again. And so the real transformation comes from there, and not just in terms of like finances or anything like that, but it shows you who you are and what you're actually willing to do. Like, are you actually willing to do the grind? I worked 2 jobs, woke up at like 4:30 a.m. and went to go train people at a gym, went to college or went to my classes, and then I would go valet at night at the club scene, you know? And then when I left that, I was willing to, when I left that, I went and detailed cars for 14 hours a day just so I can make a bunch of money or whatever. And when I like really started to hate that and felt the wear and tear on my body, my soul, my everything, I started my training business. I went from like 80 grand a year, 70 grand, 75, something like that, detailing cars, down to $1,000 a month if I was lucky for a year, for a whole year. I did that. Back was against the wall. What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. Back's against the wall for 1 year. What are you going to do? And then from there, I took a chance. I started playing with pricing structures and stuff like that. And I was able to build up my book of business. So like, I think that the majority of growth really does come, like so many people are like just complacent, and that's okay. And you can be complacent, but I don't think that you ever really get to see what you're made of or who you are as a person. I think this is what so many people deny themselves in life, is the opportunity to really see who they are as a person via hardship, via back is against the wall. What am I supposed to do here? Via, I don't know what to do anymore. I need to take a chance. So many people just take the safe route and they deny themselves the ability to see who Justin really is. They deny themselves the opportunity to see who Heather really is. Because when hardship comes, when real stuff happens, that's when you get to see who you are. Mm-hmm. It's my opinion. Ooh, did you hear that? Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, so I don't know. And that's, and to say also, that's not to say that everyone doesn't go through their own struggles and hardships, and not everybody's hardships and stuff looks the same and all this stuff. I'm just saying that, like, I think the most extreme transformations come in if you read any of the personal development books, The Power of Now, Outwitting the Devil, just name one, right? Name any of those. They always say that you come into connection with your higher self, your higher being, when you're at rock bottom, when everything goes wrong, you know? So anyway, yeah. Do you feel like you've ever had a rock bottom?
No.
No?
Huh. I know I haven't.
Why?
I don't know. I haven't really, like, I've had, like, shitty things happen to me, obviously. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think, there's only a couple things in life that I think could really be a rock bottom for me.
Yeah.
Actually, probably only one thing.
What? Should you even verbalize it?
No.
Verbalize it?
No, I shouldn't verbalize it.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
And that's morbid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, I just think that, like, and rock bottom obviously is going to look for different for different people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've been there. Like, I think about people close to me who have been at rock bottom, and I'm like, oh, I've never been there, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to, like, be like, oh, I'm perfect, or, you know, whatever.
I don't take it that way.
I haven't had anything, like, so terrible or whatever happen. And maybe some of the things that have happened to me would be rock bottom for somebody else.
Yeah.
But I, you know, and again, this is not me saying I'm whatever. I'm not trying to have a big head or anything, but I just have a lot of strong personality traits that, like, I just am not that person. Like, I'm not going to let something that isn't a rock bottom for me ruin my life or whatever, or deter me from what I need to get done, or what my purpose is or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I've never been there.
I don't think that I've ever actually hit rock bottom either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I've actually ever hit rock bottom either. I've definitely been in places, though, a lot of times where my back was up against the wall. What are you going to do? I was essentially homeless twice. I was super broke when I was younger, and I've been incredibly lost. I've been, you know, in those positions, and each time extreme growth came from all those. Now, one time that I was, in quotes, homeless was genuinely not a fault of mine. I'm going to tell this story for context because it's incredible. So I left an apartment. Like, I was leaving an apartment. I had signed a lease to an apartment because I got out of a relationship or whatever. So I signed a lease to an apartment, and I did whatever was quickest, basically. So, like, I lived with a buddy for a little bit, and then an apartment finally opened up. If you know anything about renting is crazy, especially in Wisconsin for some reason. Like, there's only certain months that you can rent, and then it's really, like, really rare that you actually get an apartment because there's so many people in line. So anyway, I got this apartment. I signed the first one that I could find, obviously, because I have a kid and stuff. And so I signed the first one that I could find. Well, I get like 5-6 months into the apartment, and it becomes summer, and I realized that there's bugs everywhere. There's bugs everywhere. I woke up, the final straw for me, I woke up to a silverfish crawling on my chest. Do you know what that is?
Like one of those serpenty looking,
yeah. I woke up to a silverfish crawling on my chest. I was like, oh, hell no, I'm out of here. So I emailed the person. I was like, you lied to me about this place. It smells like weed all the time. I have a son, blah, 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 blah. All these things were true. Completely true. There was one time where I was outside grilling, and the neighbors that were upstairs, their kids were on the balcony. They were out grilling, and they sent their kids to get them beers. And that was one thing that I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't hang around people like this. You know what I mean? For me, that's just not something that you have a child do.
Yeah.
You don't have them grab you a beer and come give it to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went apartment shopping again. I found these apartments, super nice apartments, and I was like, awesome, cool. We like got everything in line. They said I'm a business owner, so proof of income is like kind of difficult. The way that I was taking payments was Venmo at that time. So they're like, do you have a W-2 or whatever? I was like, it's wishy-washy. I can give you all my bank statements. How about that? And they were like, because that's how I've done all apartments like for the past 10 years. And so they were like, yeah, we can do that. And then so I had to go to Texas for a job with a company. And they're like, I was like, okay, I'm going to be back on Monday. I'll come sign Tuesday. Is that cool? They're like, yeah, you can come sign for the apartment. And so I go to Texas. I packed up all my stuff in my apartment. It was all ready to go. And I come back and I'm like, I came back earlier than I thought on Monday. And I was like, hey, can I come and sign the paperwork right now? Like, I'm ready. I'm already back. And when I talked to them, they were like, yeah, so the owner actually doesn't want to take your proof of income anymore. They just think it's kind of sketchy. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, they think like drug dealing and stuff like that is basically what they thought. Like, and I'm like, are you kidding? Like, you guys just told me that I could. I told you I was going to be like, I left for Texas. All my stuff is packed up. I have to be out of my apartment, you know, by whatever time, because you guys told me I could move in this week, you know? And so like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. So I was like, oh, okay, great. And so, so I end up having to live with another friend for a couple months. And, all this to say is that I have been through so many different like points of life, and I still don't feel like I've hit rock bottom. It's just every single time that something like that has happened, or that, you know, and it could be negligence on my part that some of this stuff happened, but you know, maybe I should have been like, can I sign the paperwork now instead of waiting until I come back from Texas or whatever. But you know, you just kind of trust the powers that be, right? The people who are in charge. But every single time, backs up against the wall. What do I do? You know, it's never been like I hit rock bottom type thing. So yeah, I don't know. I think that anybody who's watching this that goes through hardship or whatever, living on the edge of your fear, right? Kind of like how the book says, is one of the best ways to be able to tolerate hardships as well, right? If you're constantly edging on with fear, that becomes really familiar and comfortable. Maybe not comfortable, but it becomes a familiar feeling.
Yeah.
And then you're able to deal with more hardships because you're constantly teetering that fear line, you know?
And then grow in that time.
Yeah, and then you grow in that time, and then something else becomes a fear of yours, or you realize you have more fears than just that thing that you were holding on to before, so you start approaching that, you know? It's kind of the same thing that, like, therapists do with exposure therapy, right? You just, like, go and you do the thing, and you work it out. So yeah, good topics. Been there, done that. Now people know I was homeless twice. I wasn't actually homeless.
No. Maybe the viewers can think about what, if they've ever been at rock bottom, or if it was really truly it was rock bottom.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I think that a lot of people think that they've been at rock bottom because they went through like a breakup, or something, you know. And it's like, breakups suck, especially if you love the person, right? That type of stuff genuinely sucks. But the thing is that you can fall in love again, and it's not like it's not like when somebody dies, you know what I mean, that you can never see them again or something like that. Like, a breakup sucks, but it's definitely not rock bottom. You know? So yeah, maybe leave in the comment section below if you feel like you've been at rock bottom. If you feel comfortable commenting what rock bottom looked like, put that in the comment section below, and how you dealt with it, or how you are dealing with it. So anyway, some of this stuff that I think I'm going to be shifting focus to on this podcast is just being open and real about my life and what I've done to get through certain aspects or points of it. Even now, what I'm doing now to get through some of the struggles and hardships that I'm going through. Like I said, there's some insecurities, there's some lack of confidence issues, and that's just me being real. You know, like, I'm just going to be real. I don't mind, like, being honest about that, because other people, especially probably men, can relate to this, that, you know, some things can break you down. They can make you break, right? But we only bend, we never break. That's the point. So yeah, so I'm gonna start being more honest and open about that stuff, what I'm doing to kind of build, you know, confidence back up and myself back up. And yeah, maybe the viewers can join me on that journey. and do kind of some of the stuff that I'm doing. One thing that I will say is even if your confidence is low, don't act like it.
Good advice.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Fake it.
yeah, fake it till you make it. That's one thing that you should fake until you make. You know, like if your confidence is low, don't act like it. Because if you act like it, it's going to continue being low. If you start acting like it's not low and you start doing things that confident people do, your confidence will slowly build up over time. Now, that's not to say that you don't have to build up the habits of a confident person. You don't have to build your actual confidence up by telling yourself, you know, that you're capable and by showing yourself that you're capable of things. But just act like it, at least, you know? So
Perfect.
So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy this. Like the video, comment down below your rock bottom if you've ever been there and what you've done to get out of it or what you are currently doing. And that's it. All right.
Bye.
Peace out. Goodbye.